just 3 kilometers away from here, west from here. In one moment we see the panoramic view on the Soa River, and there's the junction river of the just joining the Vistula River here. The town is at the junction of the Soa River and Vistula River, the main river of Poland. Hello Magdalena, big thanks for joining. What time is now in Poland? Is it coming slowly? The 1:30 p.m. Yes, yes, welcome, Marianne. Thank you. Jen, Australia. That's just again, that's the hot weather. Here is the, I think, wind chill factor about the 0 degrees Celsius. You feel thank you so for following. You see, I got the naked hands because it's better to keep gimbal. I don't like gloves, and there's the better operating camera. And in one moment, we're starting the special tour in the square that is called, there was the old like a hospital square called Church Square, or just the Jewish square, because we are just in the former Jewish quarter of Oświęcim, and the history of that place is the coming up. Okay, let's count down. It's 8-7 seconds to start the tour. Chris, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and exactly like, you know, just always on my tours, we starting on time. Thank you for the joining. I walking the few steps to the place that you see the logo of the Oświęcim. Yes. Yes, I think I've got a ego little problem. I don't want to point the person that they make me a little nerves, but they said they didn't wish the friend request because of my profile full of Holocaust matters. I don't want to point at someone, but I was surprised. I said, do we Hego community? We are from the different religious, and I try always put the interfaith point of view. That's why there was such things that make me sad do, and I know that you know, if we got the 1,000 followers, it's always happened the similar like on the YouTube, that just a lot of people that got a different point of view. And on my profile, as you see, there's a lot of matters because of history of my brother of grandfather that was killed in Auschwitz. Have a look, just I give you better quality. Hello Gabi, Lynn. That is the name of the town, Oświęcim, and in Hebrew, that is the, like a little, you take a postcard, yes, at first this overview on the square, and that is the close the synagogue, so-called the rector Skarbek Square. That was the Catholic priest that was very friendly for the different religions. That is the only one synagogue that stayed in the Oświęcim. That's just the synagogue Hevra Lomdei, Hevra Lomdei Mishnayot, that's the full name. In one moment we coming closer, and the name of the square is the Plac Skarbka. That was the such rector of the church with the blue tower. Zuzanna explained excellent as about the history of that tower is visible from the all corners of the town and even from the camp. There's the main church from that part. But look at this, the Catholic church next door, and the synagogue that was built at the beginning of 20th century, and of course in the Second World War closed. That was just any warehouse, and then in communism they organized for that carpet warehouse. That was the deposit for the carpets, imagine. But the Kornhaus family and other Jewish family house is adjacent to synagogue, and in one moment I give you the proofs that that was the former Jewish property, because we could discover the mezuzah, the most important symbol and the entrance to Jewish houses. Look at this. That was the family Kornreich and Dattner family house. That was just before Second World War. The family lived here. That was they celebrated Bar Mitzvah, and that was just after Second World War. They returned to the Oświęcim. Look at this. That's the mezuzah on the part, and also of course such thing. But look at this. That is the very special because it's the mirroring the Skarbek Square and my umbrella. You could take the postcard. It's very special. This is like a mirroring effect. And look at this. That is the square. That in the middle was the well. The well was exactly that we started. that is not no special remains. And mikveh, any bathhouse should be here too, but it's the not archaeological research. And we started in the such typical little house next the synagogue on that side. Yes, that was just before war. In Oświęcim, there were 12,000 townspeople and over 7,000 Jews. The whole Jews were relocated to a ghetto in Benzburg in Silesia. Between them was the Szymon Kluger. He survived the 3 concentration camps, and after that he emigrated to Sweden, and with his family started to work in Sweden. But then in 60s he decided to come back to Oświęcim. That's why I gave the title "The Last Jew of Auschwitz," last Jew of town Oświęcim. That is, I give you the photography of him because you could find him on the Wikipedia. Szymon. Yes. Population today is the 40,000 townspeople. Before war were 12,000 people, but there were 7 synagogues. We say Beit Midrash, also prayer houses, but the 7 synagogues and the great synagogue in one moment we see, and the Szymon Kluger. And imagine he decided to live close the synagogue, that the house that he lived before war. To the synagogue we could snooping even a little bit. That's just the synagogue is now the museum, but the close you see even, it's very hard to look inside because they're just mirroring, but it's the little visible bima and the separate part for the women, but it's very hard to see. And he decided to come back. Imagine what happened with this. He's staying as the only one Jew in Oświęcim, and he worked in the chemical works Synthos, and then decided to stay only and not work. That is the castle in Oświęcim. On the part, in one moment we see better, but look at this. His house was the next door of synagogue. That is the synagogue that we started, Hevra Lomdei. Thank you, Mike. And the house of Szymon Kluger, that imagine he didn't want to walk out. Just, no sound. Oh, that's just, you have to refresh. I think it's the connection, everything is green. There's very good connection here in that place. And have a look, that is just, I give you the proof. Refresh, because I'm sure it's the good connection. It's the hard here to look at that part, but look at this. That I came to the mezuzah of that house. Yes, I got the green, is the good connection. And then look at this. That is the old entrance to his house behind the synagogue. That is the very special place. Look at this. There's the synagogue on the right. I came to the very narrow yard. It's even hard to find the space with umbrella. Look at this. There's like an umbrella wide. I'm not so thick, fat man. That's why I get the. Here is the nice bench, and there's entrance vis-a-vis the synagogue. And he lived here till 2000. Look at this. We could snooping here even. We see the very interesting symbol, coexistence, as the coexistence of different religions in Auschwitz. Coexist. That is the idea. And you see the fresco, discovery of the old house, that was the tiles that were here. There's now Cafe Bergson, very friendly place. You could also books to read. I think my break with coffee is between 2 tours. That's why I came here, Masculos. That's just very friendly place and recommended cafe here. And the place that last Jew was with his family. Look at this. Here is the. You could even read here information about the family Kluger. Take a postcard if you like. You'll find much more information. Kluger family house 321. And imagine he stayed here till 2000. Till 2000. There's nice rainbow flags around because it's very friendly for variety of point of view, and that is the Szymon Kluger house, very special place. And after 2000, because of the foundation of United States, that was the restoration of the synagogue and making like a meeting point for the youth or the just the you see there's the just the project for Ukrainian support. That's just very legal open place to anyone. That's the price. As you see there, we got it starts raining again. That's just we got a such surprise. Hello Connie, big thanks for joining. It's a very special tour in the little town. We say quirky town Oświęcim. And let's continue about him. Even in that town, you couldn't imagine. The Szymon Kluger got the Auschwitz Cross. That was interesting nomination. They given for the people. They were just the prisoners of the war, and he's got the such from the government such cross. Of merit Auschwitz Cross. I gave them big thanks, Mattia. And look at this. In the town, there was production of the Oświęcim Praga cars. And now I tell you about the tycoons of Oświęcim. The rich Jews that were tycoons, we say very rich owners of the distillery, vodka distillery, and now is the vodka museum. But that Oświęcim Praga, the richest Krakowian drove with that car, Wojciech Kossak, Bodo in Warsaw. That was, of course, the best Czech car, automobile that was production in Oświęcim. Interesting. The production is still in Prague, in Czech Republic. Good cars are in Czech. And have a look. The special thing sounds better. Thank you, Tracy. And look at this. The castle, built in 14th century, was the name Oświęcim. I discovered there was the old meaning. That was, we say, in the old meaning of the Oświęcim was like to be the gas, to be the good, to find a friendly haven, like to be get a good reception of the such place. But it's mean consecrating. That was the new part of the bishopric of Kraków. Oh, look at this. The bus is running to the bridge over Soła. Bridge was blown in the Blitzkrieg. And from that castle was the residence for the Nazi Germany government. And SS they built the tunnel from the castle to the center of the Oświęcim, to the Rynek. We going there, we see the center. And Austrians they built also tunnel. Today the two tunnels are for tourists. Look at this mural, is interesting, like giving a variety of culture. In Oświęcim, that's just mural is a little bit against the sun. Take a postcard little bit, or just I give you the zooming little bit, or just the better variety of culture. I repeat, there was the different religions in Oświęcim. Not only Jews, but there's also Pentecost people, Jehovah Witness, and Roma. We're going to close the Roma Museum. That's just a very interesting variety of the rainy again. And look at this, the next interesting. Zbiorowo, wzorowo, it means like together is better, to go together is the best. And again, the parish church behind. But as I said, I tell you about the place that is no more there. That is the Hampton by Hilton luxurious hotel with a lot of apartments. I think before COVID, that was the 2014 or 15 was the created. That is for Auschwitz Museum visitors, and they just close the Soła River, just at the boulevard. Just let me jump there quickly, and then we getting the interesting photo of family. I hope that this photo is still there. Oh, it's strong raining. Just Soła River. Oh. That is, you see the family that got the such vodka distillery on that place. Look at this. Oh, just you got the here in English the first, but look at this, the first photography of him. That was the wedding photography of Alphonse and Felicia Spearer, 1936. That is the collection of Rogers Center for Holocaust Education, Chapman University, USA. Wedding photo, that was just very important. Holocaust education photo, Chapman University, USA. You could find more details about family there. And the panoramic view, total Ansicht from Oświęcim, just from the Haberfeld house. That house looked in such form. Today is the hotel Hampton by Hilton. But you see the difference. And of course they make the kosher vodka. Kosher vodka could be only of corn and potatoes. The castle is the just adjacent. And look at this, the bridge over Soa River. I think we could get to the edge of them to see a little bit the river. At the beginning of Second World War, the bridge was blown up, the one part, and now is the flooding risk. You know, by the flooding, the water could go. You say any group is getting to the bus, I think, for the sightseeing Auschwitz or so, the museum. People have his. You see, just I'm coming back. Don't worry. But have a look on the view on the Soa River. Oświęcim is situated on the Soa and Vistula River, and just behind, 3 kilometers away, in April 1940, was the created concentration camp Auschwitz-Birkenau. Auschwitz 1 at first, and then Auschwitz 2 Birkenau, the death factory. Over 1 million Jews killed, and 125,000 other nations. But the camp is 3 kilometers away behind the Soa River, Soa, S-O-L-A, of course. And now you've got in English the lower part, the Haberfeld family story. And as I said, there was the famous liquors, but the kosher vodka made of the potatoes and corn. Yes, I think you managed. 3-1 photo. Okay. We don't see Mezuzah because now is the luxurious hotel Hampton by Hilton with vodka museum, but I think is in modern form is not so such enchanting on the part. Shimon Kluger Ohel is in the Jewish cemetery in Oświęcim. I publish now the postcard. They're showing the current Ohel is the just of course Jewish cemetery has got the over 1,000 matzevots in Oświęcim, but is there no entry and far away from the old town. We walking a little bit the loop around the main market square, and in one moment we walking former Jewish street to the remains of the great synagogue, the biggest synagogue that was here. Look at this. On the left there was the only one synagogue in service, the Mishnayot synagogue, Hevralom Day Mishnayot. Today is the Sunday, that's why it's not big traffic. Usually on the work days it's hard to talk. I think it's just the big traffic, and now we've got the luckily Sunday. And walking street, there's called Berek Yoselewicz, that was the Jewish insurgent that supported General Kościuszko in the first uprising, then in listopadowe uprising. But there was the old name was the Jewish street. Look at this, the same street, but now you've got the view 90 years ago, exactly 90 years ago. You see the crowd of Jews staying in front of the great synagogue, and the place of the Grand Synagogue, now the new apartments of the Hampton by Hilton. Now you could stay on such luxurious 4-star hotel and the Soa River, but it's hard to find the real flair. There's everything passed away. But then we've got such touch of history. Look at this, the ruined houses. Now is any social, or we say communal flats, especially such house, they're showing us there was the Beit Midrash. That was any private synagogue over there. Look at this, such shape of windows is always symbol, that was something Jewish. That's why this is very important. And look at this, the ruined houses. That's hard to say. I tell you people for the first time, before war, Oświęcim had 12,000 townspeople, 7,000 Jews. Majority of them, they were killed in Holocaust, emigrated, and only one Jew, Shimon Kluger, arrived back and staying here close the synagogue to the end of life till 2000, and now organized their museum. But then we see other cultures also. In one moment we see the Poraimos, the Gypsy Holocaust. Today is the Roma Museum, foundation of Italian government, interesting Italian-German project of the commemorating Roma Roma people from Oświęcim. There's a gypsy. That's very interesting. But look at this. What's going over there? There's the huge construction of the next any apartments and any hotel. As you see, behind the forest, that was the factory of death. Over 1 million people, the Jews, they were made killed. Over 150,000 Poles, and then other nations. That's just the concentration camp and the death factory of death, Auschwitz-Birkenau. The camp exists from the April 1940. The main commandant became Rudolf Höss, and exists till the liberation by Soviet army. That's just you could ask about the camp some facts, but we are just the close of the discovery of the place. Yes, that is the just matter what's going on with you see over there such thing is the G5. That's why you've got a good connection. Impact from the people they staying here, because such G5 connection from the mobile phone for our connection is that just as very strong. I'm today with Holger, and in Germany it's invisible that such we say antenna such connecting is there such place, but the people live over under such antenna. And have a look, there's the Roma museum. Yes, always the same. Look at the Romowie, history and culture, and that is the project. I tell you only a few words about the Roma people, these unknown facts. In the Auschwitz-Birkenau was the gypsy camp. Over 23,000 gypsies were as the guinea pigs of the Dr. Mengele. Here is just the foundation over there is interesting. Look at this. That is the Union of Italian Jewish Communities, and founded from the American Joint Distribution Committee. The Italian government sponsored the Roma Museum. And over the Holocaust of Gypsy was called Poraimos, and they started this, the whole Gypsy camp was separate. They could stay together with families, with the big families, and then because of the started cancer, the new kind of Noma, very dangerous cancer, of course they were guinea pigs of Angel of Death, Dr. Mengele. They decided for the liquidation of camp. There was even uprising on the place. Yes, so interesting. Yes, and then that was just the final solution for the gypsies in Auschwitz. But look at this. We are over plates, and it's the shape of the old Grand Synagogue that was exactly on that place. The Grand Synagogue in Oświęcim. And look at this, there's the perspective of the such Roma museum. Thank you, Kim, for the sharing. And then you see again orientation point, the main parish church. And Oświęcim, now is the information in English about the synagogue. I give you the vertical view, and you see even the model of the synagogue inside. Take a postcard, 321. Because it's the cold and I cannot keep the longer such position. And then take a postcard of the synagogue, 321. Okay. And then what is the change here? Look at this. That is the big construction zone, and so a river behind. That is just such part. And the new discovery is here, just next the synagogue. The synagogue was constructed at the end of 19th century. They got the capacity for 2,000 Jews. That was the great synagogue that is in the picture that you saw. But look at this. I prepared especially for the news, Auschwitz news, information, the postcard showing the mikveh. That is such new discovery on that place. Yes, thank you, Anne, for sharing. Look at this, the mikveh, that was the bathhouse. The Jewish women had to walk minimum for 1 week, a month. And the such mikveh, wooden mikveh, was discovered. There was the former mikveh of stones, but the such new discoveries on that place. I prepared special photography that you see. Yes, that's just the such fine. Thank you for sharing information. And then we walking little bit the Knitsch Street, but to the main market. We say like a ring of Święcim. Exactly in the place of Salesian monastery, there was also synagogue. But just in 19th century, they decided to demolish that such useless Jewish building, and they built the church Salesian Catholic monastery. But the Catholics. But we turning to the main market, so-called Rynek, and that is a very interesting place because it was the just, of course, place for trade. And till 2007 was the communist the department store in the middle, Tencha, so-called. Yes. Oh, yes, there was just such situation happened. Of course, always if they was Austrian time, and they in the Jewish districts they were getting smaller and smaller. There was still just like a main leading religion or such politic. There was just to changing territories. That's why it was not so easy anywhere in Austria too. And look at this here, but it was like an Austrian time, and that is the main. We say Rynek Główny, so-called Rynek, as the ring street around, and the old town hall over there. You see that that in the such color, and now we entering to the second town hall of Oświęcim, because the Oświęcim got altogether 3 town halls. And in the second town hall is the very nice museum organized with the history of the relocating Jews before the Holocaust and the Project Palestine that I tell you a few words. Look at this, the museum in the former town hall. Behind is the Salesian from the Sale monastery, but the museum is with classical clock. Absolutely irony. Yes, indeed, Ivan. There's still everything changed. But I tell you about the other religions. Look at this. That green house. Who could be in the green? Pentecost people. There we say Jehovah Witness, Pentecost people. They've got their own centers. And now I heard Ukrainian. There's some Ukrainian members of the Pentecost people from Oświęcim. That's why Oświęcim wanted to show the variety of culture. And the old town hall stood exactly the glass project. That was the former town hall, but in the time of communism they built a big department store. In one moment we see model. I discussed with the museum owner that there was a good connection, and I show you the model inside. As just we entering that museum Ratusz as the town hall museum. You could take also the postcard with the town hall museum, the castle museum in Oświęcim. Showing the very special history about the place. Just let me enter. I hope that the connection is keeping. Oh, fine. Okay. Oh, that's nice, warm. That's most important. And have a look. You got a good. Oh, witam serdecznie. And that is exactly that the Tencha department store. Yes, absolutely. Yes, it's just. But mainly there was a Jewish presence. It was a very big 1,000 history, exactly on. And look at this. The name Tencha, it means like a rainbow. And that you see the typical cars from the communists in that time was the such Nissa, for instance, was a very typical, the policeman got this, such kind of car. And there's even Polski Fiat, there's the yellow one, there's just the very special, that was the family, even 5 people or 6 could got the inside, and they travel around the world, and you see even the vanity plates. Yes, just the... Yes, German debate. Okay, Jeff, you got just a nice discussion, but let me keep the topic around the, look at this, that is the photos showing from the communism that place also, that in the middle of that square was the such, the such department store Tęcza, Rainbow. And that is even the tunnel, look at this, and nowadays is the empty square, yes, there's nothing. There was even a little area, the town hall, now is the glass project. But let me tell in this nice warm place some facts, because it just was just not easy for me to compare the all facts in the cold. I tell you about that family. We walking to this history of that family. That is the family Henrik Schenkel. The family that there was just a big prediction of the Holocaust, what happened there. The young boy, that's Henrik Schenkel, they got there, was with their friend from schoolmate and the Soa River, and his friend was the mental disease. Suddenly he saw, because the vision, he saw the people were burned there, the birds, and he predicted what happened in Auschwitz a few months before the Holocaust. There was just in the summer 1939 that, as you see, 1939, there's a such situation happened. Look at this. What is that museum? The museum is the coat of arms of Oświęcim. You see the Silesian eagles, but it's like a white eagles, that's just, and of course the castle of Oświęcim is still as the symbol. And what was the project before the concentration camp was created in Auschwitz, just before the concentration camp was created? Let me show. There's an interesting next project that was just in the. Germans, they wanted organize at first the emigration of the Jews from Oświęcim to Palestine, and exactly here was the office for the register Jews to emigrate to Palestine. And his father, the Leon Schenker, was responsible for it. He even traveled to Eichmann to discuss the matter of emigration. And look at this, the place, Oświęcim, that became the main emigration center for emigration of of emigration to Palestine. And the barracks, they were used for the Auschwitz I. There was the former concentration point for the Jews. They were, yes. Yes, Wendy. Thank you, Wendy, for controlling it, because just I tried to get my temperature of hands because it was so cold. Then I tried to a little warm up kindness of the museum, and then we walking to the palace of family Schenker that I want to show you on the tour. Is not easy, you know, the weather is not so special as always, as they just got the full rain. And then family Schenker, the father of him, they organized such tours. But that was the decision of the making here the camp of the convenient railway junction. There was the north, south, east, west railway point, and they turned the place for the factory of death. Look at this, that over there is also the big house. There was the palace of family Ślebodziński. There was just the rector of the church, but later turned into different shops. There were even Jewish shops before Second World War, and then turned into a place of the national court. Is just the court. Thank you, Marianne, for sharing. I always sharing on the tours the little commemorating of my family, because in the Auschwitz was my brother of grandfather, Aleksander Witowiecki. Just let me show the people the first time. You see, he arrived to Auschwitz in April 1942, and after 1 month he couldn't stay longer. They got the phenol injection and was just killed in Auschwitz, age 31 years old. That's why there's just a member of Polish Home Army, the Polish MI6. That was the fate of the Poles that were involved in the Home Army in the matters. Inside is the presenting. So thank you, KZ, for the supporting, for moderating. I give you only the interesting mural, the showing variety of the town Oświęcim. That's just interesting to take a postcard, because I think in that part is the also a little bit feasible to capture. There's getting very nice music from the. That's just the making search board. Okay, but from the museum, I'm afraid of the connection. That's why we got the view from the sightseeing of the town. Yes, that is. I give you only the little sound. No, there are patriotic songs before Second World War. That is the Oświęcim before war, as they gave us back to the 20s. You see, we are exactly here, the town hall, the former town hall. There's now the museum. Yes. Don't worry about the comments. It's just it's not easy, to film in the cold. I just walking. I show you the little market, the place that was the outlet of tunnel, and there's just the. Oh, that's just okay. Dzięki wielkie, na razie pozdrawiam. As you see, there's just a little. It's the no rain, I think, but it's wind. We got the always changeable weather. And then, as I said, in the castle Oświęcim, thank you, Beatrice. There was in the castle was the secret. The SS make the tunnel from the air raid shelter, and the prisoners of Auschwitz had to build the tunnel. That's why under us is tunnel. They're getting from the. We started over there. Exactly there is the synagogue and the castle, and there's just the photography. So we got the little traveling in time, that you see how the Oświęcim looked like before war, because they presenting. They are exactly the tunnels. Look at this. Take a postcard. Historical tunnels. That is the tunnels made in the Second World War. From the whole town is the system of tunnels. And that is the most important photo. Look at these tunnels under Oświęcim. That is the Quer tunnel and Austrian tunnel, and the SS from the Second World War tunnel is the across. That is the system of tunnels. But they wanted to show what had happened with Jewish heritage. They presenting 1,000 matzevot were used as the pavement for the streets of construction. That is the photo for the Jewish cemetery Oświęcim. And you see the municipal of Oświęcim, they did the in very good shape, as such, presenting the former past of Oświęcim. There's just a view on the. Thank you, Wendy. Okay, just there. Thank you for the help. And then look at this. We're walking exactly under us is tunnel, and we're going to the beautiful reconstructed well. The well. That was in 19th century. The people they had to take the water from the such communal well in the middle of the ring, and the photos that are just nice presenting that place 100 years ago. I think more than 100 years ago. Because look at this, that is the interesting postcard, because the showing the Gruß aus Oświęcim as the greetings from Auschwitz is the hard event. I know the tourists are buying now the postcards and sending for the families from Oświęcim on Auschwitz. This is always there was the figure as you see in the middle, and the house that we saw from the museum is from the collection from Mirosław Ganobis, exactly that house. 100 years ago with the families. And then is also very interesting photography, the showing Oświęcim 100 years ago. Yes, absolutely. That's just the new fact. And Ringplatz, Rynek, Oświęcim, the same 100 years ago. And you see 100 years ago and nowadays, as a such contrast, take a postcard because it's always important to get the perfect. And always the church with the blue tower, that's just the blue roof is making enchanting. Take a postcard, 3 to 1. And also, of course, the like a main ring. Always the smelly markets were for fish, and usually Jews were responsible for the such trade, were in the east side. And exactly we walking east from the market square, you see the typical little town. The church of the Holy Mary, that's just the church is the neoclassical style, they built in 19th century and still exist. They was not destroyed in the Second World War. There was the not bombing of Święcim or sorts of the part. Was the beginning of war. There was the some bombing, of course, but the bridge was the blown up and there was the just not the destroying of the church. And then in one moment we getting the Mały Rynek as the little market. There's just a little market, and I say fish, eggs, meat, smelly goods. They were always sold in the such small markets. It's very very small because just look at this. Is that like a triangle? Is it just the triangle shaped? And that is just the some postcards again. Such old postcards is the very good proof that people they want to show the former past and want to show that what was there here in that place is in the even at that time. You see here Mickiewicz Street in that part, and again the what is seen in Austrian time was the German. That's why it's seen in German describing total Ansicht mit Kirche. It's mean the general view of the city with a church. Interesting, and that is also the family in that street. Photo before war, that's just the same. And the bird's eye view on the Oświęcim, but there's the bridge that we started exactly here is the Hampton Hotel Synagogue, and the camp was later located on the left side. Yes, thank you, Kati, for the. Now let me talk again about the because I gave the very touchy title. Touch of Angel, a touch of angel. What does it mean? There is again the history of the Leon Schenkel and his son, especially Henry Schenkel, because you know personal histories. He's deaf. He was deaf because he died a few years ago. But he survived the Holocaust and then studied in the Academy of Science and Technology. There was the even lecturer, and then emigrated to Israel. But then, similar like Shimon Kluger, he decided to come back to Oświęcim, and they told the story in the old ruined palace of his family. His family, his father was the ran any factory, was the rich person, and they've got the palace, and the palace is today ruined. Is nothing there. And imagine after Second World War, he didn't want to talk with Holocaust. He had the always only we say sounds and voices before war. That is the film made about him, but only in Polish. I found Touch of Angel, Dotknięcie Anioła. That's the Touch of Angel. Look at this. That is the old Oświęcim. In the photography, that's also take a postcard because it's very special. Let's make a huge photography over there. That just makes also the nice traveling in time. And that is the incredible story because he decided to see the place that he stayed before war, walking over the ruined palace, and he told about the story with meeting with the mental disease schoolmate, that he had the vision of the, we say, land of the extinguished chimneys. The land of extinguished chimneys or furnaces is the matter of the crematoria. That got like a vision what happened there soon. That was a very and he supposed he met angel. He met angel because and a very special kind how protected him angel. That's I tell you because then I forget. Look at this. There's an interesting mural. It's like a zeppelin. Jarosław Jasiniewski 2018 make the such modern and patronite city Oświęcim, but it's the Catholic project I see over there. Yes, but let me tell you the story because it's very special. You know, he could be killed in the Second World War, but then he found a hide under the bed, and the Gestapo entered his house, and the dog snooping for the food, and exactly he got just the chance to get the sausage from any Polish vendor in the such yes, from the vendor, and he gave the dog the sausage, and the sausage was immediately eaten by dog, and then he thought is at the end of him. He closed eyes, he thought that immediately he was gave to Gestapo, but the dog licking his face, and he was saved. That's why he said there was like a very special protection because his father met also the very important rabbi from Warsaw, Rabbi Ger, and he met his family at the railway station Oświęcim. I show you again the famous photo of the family at the railway station Auschwitz. Look at this. The Rabbi Ger traveling, and thousands of Jews wanted to greet the rabbi, and the rabbi only touched the hands of father of his father, and he said, "You and your family would be safe." That's a very, very, very touchy story that is hard to explain, but Leon Schenker and his son and daughter, they were all only that family was safe in the time of Holocaust. They've got like a blessing of Rabbi to stay safe just from the whole. That's very important. Look at this. There's next photo showing Polish army strong, ready for the fighting. That's just the still military accent around Poland always. You know, there's such photographies showing the Polish young boys before the Blitzkrieg. That is still something similar. That's just the Poles. Just like all still hoping that just they could. We just they're ready for the fighting. That was just still that's the same. Yes, but okay, but we jumping out of the political matters. As you see, there's the emptiness in the town. I think it's very busy place, museum, Auschwitz-Birkenau, but here absolutely there's no tourists. I'm only one tourist and Holger visiting museum now. And look at this, what is on the way? Because we're walking to see the palace, and that is the house of the register office. The former register office during the war was the Gestapo palace. And look at this, the most beautiful, we say Art Nouveau architecture in Oświęcim. Today is still the owner is the municipal council, and still is the register office. But in the time of Second World War was the Gestapo. Yes, you see there is absolutely like a diamond, beautiful restored palace. In the such form, but in the war was the Gestapo. As you see, the town is like on the hill. Behind you see the block of flats, the horrible, of course, concentrating of people. That's why 40,000 people now in Oświęcim. But we're walking through the old town. But imagine, look at this. If you see such old villas, there were no Poles, no Jews in the town. According to the Reichsführer Himmler, there was the plan of the making Oświęcim Jew-free as like a Reichsführer town, and that's why it was the project of the locating only Germans in each house. Instead of Poles and Jews, they were staying German families. And they knew exactly, and they've got the smell from the camp, of course, because there was mainly west wind. That's why with the crematoria were in full service, there was just the smell around. That is the matter. That is you know, ghosty town. We say that Oświęcim is like a town of ghosts. It's hard to believe, but it was so close, the concentration camp. That villa is also before war constructed. We don't know exactly whom was the owner of that such villa, but we see the beautiful modern style. And let's go the few steps getting the edge of the old town. Big thanks, Christian, just for tipping. Some matters that I have to show. My friendly guide from the museum Auschwitz, they said, oh, we just discover something special in our cellar, and what was in the cellar? That was the human hair. That's why here in the event today, if the someone they got the new house on the old house, sometimes there was something is to find from the industrial using human hair from production. You know, Germans, they use the Jewish hair for the production of carpets, clothes, also. That's why there was such discovery very freshly, few years ago, 3 years ago. In the cellar, there was just wrapped the socks of human hair. That was such ghosty town. You see, because here in that again I repeat, in that apartments there were Germans. There was just no Poles, no Jews. That was like a project of the very special, just creating the new space for Germans. And that's why there was such. But after war, there were council flats, communal, flats. Just this changing. Even now is like a much more the poorer district of Oświęcim. Is the not so sophisticated like a new districts behind the river, for instance. But you see the similar bricks from the buildings. There was the typical bricks used for the barracks, and then at the edge of the town, usually the SS supervisors, they've got such, or the guard houses were at the edge. But we should see the only one palace that was completely abandoned. Now I don't know if there's it's feasible to look inside, but just we got from the distance, we see that palace is making shocking impression, because just house was in a very good. That was a few years ago. Was just even no entry, but that house is just the last house. Oh, you see on the right again the. Hello, Kalin. Big thanks for the joining. Oh, that is just the two palaces. You see the one house over there, and from family Schenkel. It's completely abandoned. No one live here. It's just like a ghost place. And Henrik Schenkel, they told the full story about his family exactly here. And his father, Leon Schenkel, was the president of Jewish community responsible for the deportation Jews to Palestine. There's just a search form. There's everything closed, no entry. But we climb a little up. Oh, and then you see is the private property, no entry, but we could take a postcard. Family Schenker family, very important, because I posted the photography of that family on the railway station Auschwitz. Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you, Kati, for the sharing. I appreciate any even the very even controversial matters. As I know the for people. I have for the next tour afternoon. I take the proper hand gloves, because I think that my problem is a little there was the frozen to the bone. But then we walking direction the synagogue again. That just I want to get the straight to cafe. Then I little warm up, and I start the tour again for the second part of publicity. Some asking me doing the tour, of course, repeating the tour later. No, that's absolutely. I don't think so. That's why please don't forget to press the follow button at the top right. Top right is the follow. And if you want to get again repeating the tour, but in my kind of tours, they are not the same. I know that I tell again something new, something spontaneous that just appeared. On the second part of the tour is no entry to museum. That's why I try to walk more on the Soa River. river and show you something interesting and tell about the big thanks, Jeff. I tell you matters connecting with concentration camp, of course. That's just the hard not to tell few words about the project Auschwitz and the such decision of the making exactly here that place. Because there were a lot of factors, not only railway junction. Big thanks, Kate. But especially I have to point, I traveled 62 kilometers by my car, and especially only for the Hego tour. Is also very new kind of quality of Hego. The people are thinking I'm crazy. They say only for virtual tour you're going extra with car 62 kilometers, no group, no proper tourist. I say I've got a virtual tourist. That's you are just my future. I think is that just the Hego. With the quality of live stream, they giving the such option that I hope in the summer with groups I also could find that time with you, because as you know, 20 big thanks, big thanks for the any support. With groups, unbelievable. But I've done it now once, and I think it's not the last time, because in 1 hour I try to repeat the same tour. That's why it's the big things that we keep staying in touch. You could see my crazy tours also on the YouTube channel, of course, Tom Guide Krakow. Big thanks for the sharing my profile. Look at this. I give you for other perspective the register office, beautiful Art Nouveau style house. Oh, thank you, just a big thanks. I think that's just we have to do that just any together any tour in Auschwitz. I think that's it's a comprehensive tour. That's just with the two facts connecting with the. I got such even idea with the sub camps of Oświęcim. That's just sub camps of Auschwitz. There was a lot of places that are completely, we say, neglected. There's just neglected places that underestimated by visitors. They want only see Auschwitz-Birkenau and nothing else. But there's just a lot of places. But there is such emptiness like here. We are just alone. Only virtual visitors today in Oświęcim. There's also making the new quality that, like in time of COVID, only virtual visitors are now in Oświęcim. It's just a very special. Yes, big thanks, Ivan. Thank you for any opinion, comments. Is the tour number? I think like number one, like a new tour. That's why, of course, with the such support, you encourage me to travel again and again. I've got the idea of the travel on the bike, the ride on the bike, and also the interesting places are along the Vistula River to direction Auschwitz, and maybe in the time of the summer, the hot weather, there's just the such big thanks. Welcome, Marianne. Yes, and then just let me tell there's only big thanks again, and prepare for the big thanks for the YouTube channel. I started YouTube channel with the special place of the Solarhütte. That was the holiday resort for the angel of death, Dr. Mengele, and commandant of Auschwitz. And then you could find on my YouTube channel some information. That was my first film on YouTube. South of Auschwitz, I traveled extra there with my wife, and this is just a very special place, and also some matters connecting with Auschwitz. That's why around the such sub camps, such places, we starting the new quality. Yes, big thanks for the screen printing, and I think from the area that we covered, I focusing much more about the. In the museum, not the museum, I suppose that just maybe, I consider to if the Hego administration, or we say they gave us such like a journalist, the journalist pass for the entering some objects. There would be nice if there was any very special media, supported. Would be the best if there any global famous BBC or CNN. But if we got the such strong, pass. The museums also they are very glad to got the such, you know, also any commercial matters to be famous also. But it's the, I think it's always official permission, and especially the State Museum Auschwitz is just very special. We have to just they need the special permissions for the part. But who knows? I think that's just of course I thinking about it. Maybe in the future, if such tours they became so popular, more followers, more of course, Hego would be much more famous. Then we with such tours there could be. But you know, in the Auschwitz one, there are two barracks. There are no filming, no photos. We have to respect such places. That's why the two places with the human hair, human shoes, and the death block is the no filming. That's why generally for filming in Auschwitz is the very big discussion. I think I consider the Jewish platform in Birkenau. That is the place for streaming, but today we've got a very strong wind and there was no good connection. I tested the signal and there was not good place. Maybe in the future I put the tour as for the future, the Jewish ramp. And Jewish ramp in Birkenau, there was the platform, unloading platform for the transport of Jewish children. Even that's a very special project that I put as the second tour at first, but then it's just the only project. But see you in 1 hour. If somebody is powerful, prepare any questions, please. I always appreciate your following, but any questions. And we see in 1 hour again in the same places, but much more about the Soa River, about the concentration camp. Also, if you got any questions, I'm just always open to answer. But now I have to drink the hot coffee. Big thanks for the support, and just see you in 1 hour. I have to charge the battery. That's most important because I see the level of battery is getting down. Okay, big thanks for the supporting. Thank you. Take care. See you one.